This kind of thing had been happening ever since he got down on one knee and proposed to Terry. He convinced himself then that he was ready to settle down and leave all the other women alone. On the one hand, he loved Terry with all he had to offer, but on the other, he lacked the willpower and discipline to say no to a fat butt and a pretty smile. Genesis stood there for a moment, still unable to bring himself to touch that towel. Guilt came from both directions. Here he was, in another man's house, naked. Then there was his fiancée, Terry. In his mind, it seemed the more he messed up, the sweeter she became. Even when he knew she'd had enough of his antics, she would always surprise him with her forgiveness. Every time he cheated on her, he told himself that it was the last time. Then, Genesis thought about the possibility of another man standing in his bathroom naked, after he'd just finished sexing Terry, and his heart skipped a beat. Ain't this a bitch? Gonna disrespect her husband like that? I should leave my drawers in her hamper so he'll beat her ass, Genesis said to himself as he wiped the steam from the mirror with his bare hand. Sheila, he called out. Yeah, babe. The tall bronze beauty appeared in the bathroom doorway, wearing only a white silk robe. I need another towel, Genesis said as he pointed at the initials on the towel. How you gonna give me your husband's personal towel to dry off with? What difference does it make? Sheila said, unaware of her transgression. What makes you think I want to use that man's towel? Genesis snapped. Who are you yelling at? In here tripping over a damn towel. Or whatever, man. Goddamn hypocrite, Sheila said in disbelief. Just get me another towel. Is this more to your liking? Sheila said sarcastically as she handed Genesis a plain white towel. And since when did you start caring about my husband's things? You drive his car, eat his food, and sex me up at least twice a week. You know what you're full of, don't you? Genesis took the towel without response. He dried himself and threw on his basketball shorts and plain white tank top, slipped his feet into his Adidas flip-flops, and walked out the door without saying goodbye. Damn. Is it just me, or are women getting out of hand? Genesis wondered before hopping into his black Chevrolet Blazer. Life had been a constant roller coaster ride for Genesis since he asked Terry to marry him. It had been a daily struggle to be faithful. Every time he was faced with a chance to do right by his fiancée, he failed. In the 2 years they had been dating, the longest he managed to remain faithful was 3 weeks. And that was torture. After his failed attempt at monogamy, he understood how a drug addict felt. He really wanted to kick his sex habit, but something stronger than his will kept forcing him to give in to his temptation. But life as a good-looking brother in Atlanta was unfair, Genesis thought. It seemed like someone had gotten on a loudspeaker and told the female population that one more single man was about to be taken away. Ever since he popped the question, it seemed women were coming out of the woodwork, making his quest to be monogamous an impossible task. The women he was already dealing with became more demanding. Sheila was the worst. She acted like Genesis was her man. He remembered the look on her face and the question she asked when he informed her of his engagement. The look was one of pure confusion, and her questions confused the hell out of him. How could you do this to me? What about us? What did I do wrong? I ain't did a damn thing to you. There is no us, and what you did wrong was get married in the first place if you still had some outside freaking to do. But those answers never left his mouth. Instead, he assured her that nothing was going to change between them, kissed her lips, and got ready for a long workout.